Hi, it's Richard Bromwell here from Charterhouse Auctioneers. We're going to have a bit of a walk and a talk through our great big classic and vintage motorcycle auction being held over at the amazing Haynes International Motor Museum on Wednesday the 29th of June. Now we've got about 130 lots in the sale, so it's a fantastic auction. Now, as you know, we always like to start off with a few projects. Now this is a 1950 BSA A10 Golden Flash project. It's come from a deceased estate over in Wales. We've got about 9 or so bikes and projects out of this house. Yes, out of the house, they're upstairs, downstairs, kind of anywhere but the garage. This was bought in 1989, and this is all his bikes are being sold without reserve. Much work done. Also from the same estate, he's got several actually BSA A10s, and here's another one, all in bits. He did like to dismantle his bikes, didn't he, and not put them back together again. From more local here, we're into Somerset, and a nice little collection of mopeds here. We do like our auctions to be interesting. We don't just want the high value stuff. You've got to start somewhere, and as you know, there's a lot of interest in mopeds, so these are all mopeds from a local client over in Somerset. From across the water now, we actually move over to the 1988, the Norton Classic. This has come to us from a private museum over on the Isle of Man. It's number 65 of 100 made. It's just done 1,456 miles from new, and this is estimated at sort of £8,000 to £10,000 for, as you know, the rotary engine Norton Classic. Also from the same owner is this. This was a pin-up poster bike for me back in the day at school, the 1982, the Hesscath V1000. Again, sadly from a deceased estate over on the Isle of Man. Yes, we travel far and wide. This was bought in 1992 and has been in a private museum over there. It's only gone 3,555 miles from new, and the same as the Norton Classic. This is estimated at sort of £8,000 to £10,000. Next up, we've got the little trio of Ducatis here. We've got a couple of 996, there we go, in the red and in the yellow, and also the 851. And again, they're always very, very popular. Lovely sports bikes, need no introduction on those. Something which does need a little bit more introduction is this, constructed in 1978 and 1979 by the owner. This is the Norvin here, and this is actually fitted with a 1949 Vincent Rapide Series B engine. Beautifully presented Norvin, one of my favourites in the sale, and that's estimated between sort of £33,000 and £35,000. Next up, we've got a little Yamaha. Here we go. We've got the CS5E, the little electric start. Here we go. And again, this is from a client down in Bournemouth. Well, actually, I think technically he's in New Forest, isn't he? And beautifully presented little electric start here. Modestly estimated at sort of £2,000 to £3,000. Sadly, the owner's given up riding due to failing eyesight. Back over to 1962. Again, this is possibly one of the best bikes in the auction. The 1962 Matchless G50, here we go. Campaigned and ridden and owned by Lewis Young, here we go. He bought it basically new. He rode it, he raced it. He sold it, he bought it back and restored it, and after it was restored back in the 1990s, it was kept inside his house, his pride and joy. Sadly, Lewis passed away in 1997, and we're now selling this on behalf of his widow. It's matching numbers, excellent history and provenance, and is probably the best G50 you will ever come across, and that's estimated between £30,000 and £35,000. Also, another beautifully presented bike is this 1956 Douglas Dragonfly. This is won first prize in the best bike in the show, the Bristol Classic Bike Show. And again, a little bit different, a little bit quirky, in at £8,000 to £9,000. Moving to sort of more modern bikes, this was actually built and completed in 2020. This is the Rickman Matchless Mark III. Here we go, and this has got the 1960 Matchless the G80 engine. Here we go. I think I need a cup of coffee. It's a stunning road legal bike, and this is estimated at £8,000 to £10,000. The client, he's kind of built it, he's enjoyed it, he's losing some storage space, and that's the reason for it selling. Another interesting and early bike here is the 1925, the Nera Car. Here we go. Again, beautifully restored. It's one of 16 examples with a Blackburn engine known to exist. And again, this beautiful restoration, this is one best in show again at the Bristol Classic Bike Show. And the rare bike estimated between £15,000 and £18,000. Moving on, another Norton, here we go, and this is a 1961, a Norton Max, the Ken Taylor Special. It's rare to see a 250cc. This is constructed in 1958 by engineer and racer Ken Taylor, assisted by Joe Potts, here we go, and a wonderful race bike here with fantastic history and provenance in at £23,000 to £25,000. Also, another Norton here, it's the Dominator SS, here we go, and this is number 29 of 50 UK allocated bikes. It's obviously kept inside its pride of place indoors, here we go, and this is 0 miles on this one. It's never been ridden down the road, and that's estimated between £25,000 and £27,000. Also in the sale is the 2018 Indian Scout with the 2020 Ewan bike of Germany, the sidecar. Again, quite a big sort of beast. There we go. We've actually got quite a few sidecar combination bikes. We've also got a brace of Panthers. We've also got an Aerial 1000 with a sidecar and a Sunbeam S7 with a sidecar. So some, you know, if you like your sidecar action in the auction, this is for you. Another early bike again, the same year, the 1925, the Douglas TS, same year as the Nera Car, here we go, beautifully restored. We had one of these bikes from a client in the last auction, so it's not the same bike, it's a different bike, and also he's got a few frames and spares being sold without reserve at the start of the sale. And this beautifully presented and restored bike is in at £9,000 to £10,000. A little bit more pricey and certainly a little bit more racy is this 1984 Yamaha ID 500. It's a 47X. And this was actually a little bit of interesting history. It was used on the soundtrack of the PlayStation 4 game Ride. So if you've ever played that game Ride, that is the bike that made all the noise for you to go racing with that. And this wonderful bike imported from Germany, previous owner of about 24 years, is estimated between £13,000 and £15,000. Again, another big old bike, here we go, the 1939 Aerial, the Square 4 1000, that's the 4G. It's purchased in 1970. We've got staff here who weren't even born in the year 2000, so long-term ownership, beautifully restored, and that's in at £14,000 to £16,000. Moving on now, we've got the 1929, the Sanso Pap, here we go. Never had one of these in before. It's a rare French bike. It's the only one known to exist according to our records. It's got the Swiss-made 500 mag engine, bought in 2020 and beautifully restored to concours condition, but not run since. So a little bit of history, here we go. Estimated at £15,000 to £16,000. Again, sadly due to ill health, the sale. That's the reason why he's selling it. Moving on again to 1973, the Triumph Hurricane. We've got a number of Triumphs that we always do. I just love the pipes on that. The X75, imported in 2016. Needs a little bit of recommissioning work because it's part of a big collection of bikes we've been selling for a client, and estimated on here, the rare, the X75, estimated between £20,000 and £25,000. And just a bike to end up on one of the last lots in the auction. This is a 1938 AGS Silver Streak. Again, restored in 2008. A rare pre-war AGS. Rare to see a Silver Streak today. And this one is estimated at between £9,000 and £10,000. So there's a quick little whistle-stop tour through the auction. There's about 130 lots in the sale. And hopefully we'll see you there at the viewing, at the auction, or bidding online.